Amanda, Houston, Texas. Hi, Amanda.
Hi, Hank. I barely just found you on the radio just recently, and so I'm new to your I guess what it is you talk about.
Uh-huh.
But I do have a question. I started taking a class in the fall at the university, and it's Bible as literature, and I was wondering, with the faith that I have in Christ, is trying to read the Bible is it possible to read it from a secular perspective?
Well, it's not possible to read it from the perspective of philosophical naturalism, and most secular universities embrace, at least in part, if not in whole, the whole notion of philosophical naturalism and march lockstep to the tune of what is built on that edifice, which is the evolutionary hypothesis, which has to suppose, as I mentioned to the earlier caller, that nothing creates everything, that life comes from non-life, and that the life that comes from non-life produced morals. So if you have that kind of an environment, they're going to say at the very outset that you cannot invoke supernatural explanations. And therefore, they'll read the Bible in such a way as to denude it, to take out of the Bible the resurrection or the incarnation or the notion that God spoke and the universe leapt into existence. They'll also embrace the notions that kinds evolved into other kinds, which flies in the face not only of Scripture, but also of science, evidence in the soil itself. The fossil record says no. So the idea here is that if you read it in a purely secular fashion, then you're going to eliminate the supernatural. And you must be far more open-minded than your professors or any of you that would teach you that, because an open-minded person allows for both natural as well as supernatural explanations for what they encounter in the universe. So a purely secular way of reading the Bible would be to strip it of its majesty.
Okay. Well, that's what I was wondering, and I'm debating on whether to drop this class or not, and I did purchase your Has God Spoken book, and it's been excellent, as I just actually got it 2 days ago, so I barely started reading it, but I didn't know on how much it would affect me, this particular class, because, I still have the opportunity to drop it, so I didn't know whether to drop this class or not.
Well, here's the thing. It depends on how strong you are, Amanda. I see these kinds of things as opportunities. I know when I was in school, unfortunately, I had the same issue going on all the time. I had to deal with the culture in which I was living, not only the culture in general, but the school culture, which was teaching me things that were antithetical to what I was learning in terms of biblical teaching from my parents, and the two didn't coincide. So I thought that my parents were wrong and the Bible had to be discarded and that the secular community was right. It wasn't until I started looking at the evidence that I was fortified and now able to take the objection and use it as an opportunity. You may be in that same position. I don't think we have to fear the world because we have real explanations. The biblical worldview corresponds to reality.
Great. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate your time.